and that's when we were taught the basic components of social entrepreneurship. And I've been using those skills to, help me thrive as a social entrepreneur. Before I started, I expected us to be, traveling from state to state, talking to people. Instead, we stayed here, and actually did more work here. So in this internship, I got to do canvassing, composting, and talking to people throughout the community every single day. And that made me feel really good inside because I love to work with my hands, and that's exactly what I got to do. Out of this, I became a member of the 317 Media Cafe, which was a fundraiser for our school. And at first, I started off as a daily setup person, which meant I just, cleaned up and made the coffee. I didn't have a problem with my job. I wanted to do something more. So out of hard work, and we had a vote, and I got booted up all the way to assistant manager. And it was, fun. I got my own clipboard and stuff. So then a few more meetings later, and still to this day, I became the manager of the cafe. And out of these jobs, the hardest part would probably have to be the manager, because anytime there's an issue, the staff, they always come to me. Even something as, petty as she won't do her job. But I wouldn't let my people down, so I just have to do my job.
But in some way, whether consciously or unconsciously, we are part of the civic process in creating prosperity for our community. And in terms of creating that prosperity, what you could do is create new pathways. So Emotep was talking about, funding and, rules and regulations, which probably might be too rigid for, things that you want to do. And so what you have to do is to create new networks and partnerships and create new pathways towards prosperity that works for certain communities. So let's say, for instance, in the U.S., they are, based on our history of, discrimination, racism, and everything else that goes with what goes on in the U.S., there's always a tendency of some people doing very well and some people not doing very well, and it could be just based on geography or schools that they go to. There are a variety of things, reasons. So one of the new ways of thinking about how you create prosperity within the community is really look at civic entrepreneurship or social entrepreneurship, which is looking at the needs within your community. Not just, I want to start a small business because I want to be on my own and I don't want anybody to give me any orders. I want to do my own thing. Well, that doesn't work because it's very, very short-lived. Within about 2-3 years, you're going to blow out. But then if you look at the needs within your community.
Well, some of the things that we're looking at right now are things that we do already for the community. Sometimes some of the things, as Imhotep was talking about, don't need to be that complicated. One of the things that we're thinking about is we do weatherization services. In order to do that, we have to take people who are trained. We've got certified technicians. We remove them from the nonprofit by having them work hours that are outside the nonprofit structure. For the equipment that would be used, we would rent that equipment to the weatherization, what we call auditors, the technicians, so that they can use that equipment to work on the houses. They drive vehicles to and from the houses. We would lease the vehicles to them for those periods of time, whether they're working on Saturdays or whether they're working evening hours and things like that, to be able to do those kinds of things. Keeping that arm's length relationship there so that there is a clear-cut separation is what we would do to make those kinds of things happen.